And welcome back to another episode of Sisters in Crime with Shy and Toy. I'm Toy, short for Latoya.
And I'm Shy, and that's short for Shamia.
And we back at it again with another true crime case. This one is hailing from good old Florida.
Yes, sir.
So, first, before we jump into it, please don't forget to like, share, comment, subscribe. We are on YouTube, TikTok, and Instagram.
Yes.
Our handle is Sisters in Crime with Shy and Toy. If
And
you want,
Shy is spelled SHI, and Toy is spelled TOY.
right, just like what children play with, but don't play with me, okay?
Exactly. Period.
Amen, amen.
Period.
All right, so what we want to there might be. Is there a trigger? It's probably a slight trigger warning. There's a slight trigger warning. We gonna get into like some sexual assault and allegations and stuff like. Well, not allegations, but sexual
Mhm.
assault and things like that. If you have any recommendations of any cases that you may want us to cover, please don't hesitate to send us an email. Everything is Sisters in Crime with Shot and Toy, and that's
Yes.
at gmail.com. So without further ado, I'm going to let my sister go ahead and pick up with Miss Dawnia Decosta.
Okay, y'all. So we are covering the case of Dawnia Decosta today. If you're interested in watching, you need to get all the tea and all the information here. But if you want to put faces to the name and everything, this is season 13, episode 18 on Forensic Files. And the episode is called Church Disservice. So Church DIS service. All right. So this case is really, really sad, very, very just disgusting, and it made me furious. So I know it's gonna make y'all furious. It's just insane. You would not believe some of the people. Well, yes, you would, because if y'all true crime people like we are, you already know some of the people that they let walk the street, and it's just disgusting. We will get into it later, but it's just disgusting how this went down, and this person and everything. So y'all. So Dawnia Decosta, this case is out of Fort Lauderdale, Florida. So just a little background about Dawnia. Dawnia and her family went to church regularly. They were very, very active. I mean, the episode said that they went to church like 2 to 4 times a week. They were a very close knit family. She was very, very close to her not daughter. I'm so sorry. Her other sister named Rania. They're very close with her mom. Very close, tight knit family. So one night in December, Dawnia decided to go to church alone. Her and her sister normally went to church together, but this particular day she said, she was going to church by herself because her sister had homework to do. So unfortunately, y'all, this will be the last time that her family saw Dawnia. So Ranya's mom visited Dawnia and Ranya's mom came to visit her because she was concerned because she had not seen Dawnia. Dawnia had not returned home from church. They knew this was not like her. She would not be out and about like this. So they immediately called the police to do a search for her. So while they were searching in the area, they did find her vehicle. So when they pulled over to see her vehicle, they saw she did not have any gas. Now, according to Raya, her sister, this had happened several times before that, she had not several times, but I think she said another time where she had ran out of gas. So she always kept a gas can in the back of the car, just in case that ever happened. So they were able to check the trunk and the gas can was not there. So that made them think that possibly, she had went to get some gas and just hadn't returned yet. So they continue to do some searches. They talked to some people at the gas station, the closest gas station, to see if they had saw her, and they remembered someone that fit the description of Dawnia being at the gas station actually getting gas. And based off the description, they were able to tell, yes, that was Dawnia. So witnesses say they saw her getting gas. They saw a gentleman that was dressed very nice approach Dawnia, and I guess he was trying to assist her. And I think Dawnia probably declined at first, but I guess later on she just felt comfortable enough to go with him. So unfortunately, y'all, as you get ready to see, unfortunately, that, I'm not going to spoil it, but yes, you can probably see where we're headed. So The witnesses say they saw Dawnia get into a van with a gentleman. They described him as a handsome, very relatively handsome, clean-cut man, black man, medium skin tone, was dressed very nice, and he was in a van. So 2 eyewitnesses say the van was teal. Then another witness said the van was burgundy. But both witnesses said they observed the word hope on the vehicle. So I don't understand how you would get teal from burgundy, but
Don't get them.
I was a little confused by that. But, it made me think of that, not the conspiracy, but that huge debate a couple years ago with the dress, that people couldn't tell if the dress was like blue or black, or I can't remember what it
Well,
was.
they was kind of on target, but then they wouldn't.
Yeah, right. So, well, like my sister said, we're going to get into it later. Okay, so the witnesses, they say what they saw. They saw Dawnia get in the van and left. That's all they saw. So, of course, they start passing around flyers to see if anyone has seen Dawnia. I think they put out a composite drawing of the gentleman that the witnesses say they saw. That was circling around on the news and also around in the area where they live, where they were doing the search. So, y'all, unfortunately, a couple days later, a worker does find Dawnia's body in a trash can, which is horrible that this person threw her body away like she was just a piece of trash, a human being. So truly disgusting. So they found her body. She was completely nude. She was wrapped in a shower curtain and a bed sheet, with a bag over her head. They also found several brown fibers on her body. They also found a tire impression on the sheet that was the part that was draped over her leg, which told police that whoever did this actually drove over her leg as they were driving off, which is completely disgusting as well. So, of course, you have their, collecting evidence in the area. They see there were other tire impressions around the area where her body was found. The tire impressions were very faint, so it was really hard for them to get a clear picture of what the tire impression looked like. But they were able to still get a somewhat of a print because they use this technique that they call it. I can't remember. It's like different light sources that they used to get the print. But they said the print still wasn't large enough, but they did use different light sources. It's a technique that the forensic teams have, where they put it against different lights. But they said it still wasn't good enough, but they did get something. They actually also took the bag that they found over her head and use super glue fuming. It's a technique where it is able to show if there's any fingerprints on the bag. So they were able to get 6 partial prints and then 6 full prints from the plastic bag that they found. But they ended up running the fingerprints in the system, and unfortunately, none of the fingerprints matched anyone in the database. So we're going to next get into the autopsy, y'all. So be prepared. I know this can be triggering, but you need to get a full scope of this to see exactly, as we go throughout the case. So with the autopsy, they were able to determine that unfortunately she was sexually assaulted and also tortured. They were able to estimate she was killed hours after she vanished. Like I said, there was tire impression over her on the sheet. She had multiple stab wounds on her chest. Each stab wound was like the shape of a star. But I think the key thing that they paid attention to was that these stab marks that were star-shaped never penetrated her chest cavity. These stab wounds never actually penetrated her chest cavity. It just stuck her skin, but you could still see there were slight punctures. So that was what I hate to call it interesting, but that was a key thing that the person doing the autopsy paid attention to. They did see that there was a stab wound that was in her head, which they determined that that was the cause of death. They also found a horseshoe bruise also on her head, and they were able to determine that it could have been done. It was done by something like a heavy object because it was shaped like a horseshoe. But at that time, they did not know what this could have been, right? So they did see that there was a bite mark on her arm. They were able to get a forensic odontologist to take a photograph of the bite, to analyze it, kind of see the structure of the person's mouth who could have bit her, who could have did this. So they also had that to go off of as well. They also found DNA under Dawnia's nails. Now, y'all, if you're ever in a situation like this, and I pray none of you are, but if you are, please scratch the hell out of that person. Because it is so many times, in the way DNA testing is now, there have been so many times that people, murderers and attackers, whatever they may be, have been caught because these women or men have scratched the hell out of these people, got the DNA under their nails, and they're able to extract DNA from the nails, and sometimes they are able to catch the attacker or the perpetrator. So yes, y'all, scratch the hell out of them people if you have to. So at this point, at this point, they're still looking for this vehicle and this man, because investigators understood at this point, if you find the man that she was with, the last person she was with, that's definitely the murderer, as well. So in the meantime, someone in the area had reported they seen a van like the one they had been looking for in Dawnia's case. So they were able to determine that this van belonged to the Church of God. It was a church in the community. Now, the police had searched every van in that area that belongs to every church in that area.
With the letter hope on it.
Yeah, with hope on it. Yeah, with hope on it. And at first they had they didn't have any luck. So they did have someone report this van. Police started following this van. So they were able to pull the people over in the van. It was like 4 men in the van. They pulled them over, searched the van. They said they found a floral dress that they believe was kind of like the same description as the one that Dawnia had on the day she went missing. They also got some tire impressions from the van, but unfortunately, not unfortunately, let me back up. So not only did they do that, they questioned the men. They also the men gave them DNA samples willingly. The DNA did not match any of the men. The mother looked at the dress. Dawnia's mom looked at the dress. She said that dress did not belong to her daughter. The tire impressions from that van that was reported did not match the van the impressions found at the crime scene. So at this point, they still don't have anything, and everything checked out with the 4 men, so they had to let them go. So I would say about 4 months later, police do find just some off-duty cops just in the area found a teal van with the word hope on it. So they're like, ain't no way. Like, you got to be kidding me. So they pull over, and I'm going to let my sister take over from here.
All right, so detectives find this van that was the color teal and had the words hope on it. Now, if you recall previously, the 2 witnesses from the Texaco gas station, one said the van was teal, one said the van was burgundy. This was a teal van with the word hope written in burgundy color.
Mm-hmm.
So it was parked at the Generation Hope daycare in Fort Lauderdale. And the detectives went and spoke with the pastor of the church, and the pastor, he kept records, like he logged everything. And so he went and checked. He was like, well, I wasn't driving the van the night in which Dawnia disappeared or whatever, but I can tell you who was. So when he went and looked at his logs, he came back with a man named Lucius Boyd. Lucius was the maintenance man at the daycare. He was very well dressed, described as being, as the witnesses said, between his 30s and 40s. He was very articulate. He was a church going man, so that's probably why Dawnia felt it was okay for her to get in a truck with him, because this is a church van, right?
Mm-hmm.
And her family was very deep in the church.
Mm-hmm.
So the log showed that he was the one who drove the van on the date in question, and he did not even return the van until several days later.
Red flag.
But red flag. But the church didn't think anything of it, just for the simple fact that they didn't really need the van at the moment. So, it was like, okay.
Yep.
So when the police look inside the van, they see a purple laundry bag that resembles the one that was found with Dawnia's body at the dumpster, right? And then when the church, the pastor is looking at it with them as well, because he's a very meticulous man. He keeps records of things. He notifies the police that there was a box of tools that was missing, that was always kept inside the van. Missing specifically was a reciprocating saw, a torch screwdriver, and a garment bag that they used to transport the dirty laundry to the cleaners, right? So, in their investigation of looking into maintenance man Lucius Boyd, they noticed Lucius lived only 2 blocks away from the Texaco gas station where Dawnia was last seen. So, quite naturally, they like, we need to go talk to Lucius. So, when they go talk to Lucius,
You
he
call him
denied
Lucius.
any involvement. But while he denied any involvement, he also did not have an alibi to account for
Mm-mm.
his whereabouts.
Not at all.
And he was no stranger to the police, because he had been charged several times over a span of I don't know how many years for violent offenses ranging all the way from rape to murder. But
That's what pissed me off so bad, because
yes,
how does this man still walk around free?
he was acquitted on everything.
That made no sense to me.
He was
Like,
acquitted on everything. The police, it's so much so to the police called him Teflon Don.
really?
Yes, the police called him Teflon Don. If you take him in the courtroom, baby, ain't nothing sticking.
He must have had an awesome attorney.
He must have had an awesome root worker, because when
Yeah.
nothing sticking,
Yeah. Oh yeah.
somebody protecting him, baby, because when nothing sticking. And the
Right.
streets call him Lucifer. The streets said he was a very evil man. So the
Yeah.
streets called him Lucifer. Police called him Teflon Don.
Mm-hmm.
Hey, you like, even in the Friends of Fire episode, he on TV. I didn't do this, man. I
Yeah.
didn't do this. Like,
Yeah.
I was like, you
I
lying.
was
But
like,
anyway,
sir, but you don't have an alibi.
you don't.
You don't have an alibi. And then okay, go ahead, sis. I mean,
So
yeah, go ahead.
he's suspected in 10 unsolved murders.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Now, the daycare center, they knew of his arrest, but they only hired him because they presumed his innocence, being that he was acquitted on all these previous cases and these arrests. So, which I mean, in a way, I kind of understand that, just for the simple fact that, there is a disproportionate amount of black men in jail versus white men, and there kind of is, as we seen with the Black Lives Matter movement. A
Yes.
lot of times minority groups are targeted, so that's probably where their mind was at.
I get that. You're correct. But 10?
Yes, 10.
But 10. Like, I
But
understand.
the thing is, also, since you have to consider, if you are arrested and 10 different times for these things and nothing sticks, at least half of them should have stuck. At least one. Nothing stuck. Nothing. He
I
was
get it.
acquitted every single time, and I'm wondering, sir, who was your attorney? Because
That's who Diddy need right now. Let's just say.
we need to get him on the line.
No,
Who's your attorney?
right. Diddy,
But
get that check.
please. So, he also had a live-in girlfriend. Now, this man had been married twice before. He got over 8 kids, but he got a live-in girlfriend, right?
Mm.
So, which she was cooperative when police went to the apartment. She was very cooperative, but she let them know, during, the time Dawnia went missing, I was out of town.
Mm-hmm.
So she couldn't account for his whereabouts.
Mm-hmm.
But police asked her, hey, is anything missing in your home? She could look around. She's like, well, yeah, I'm missing a yellow bed sheet and a brown bed sheet. Those
Mm-hmm.
are the same color sheets that Dawnia's body was wrapped up in.
Mm.
Also, while detectives were in there questioning the girlfriend, they noticed that the carpet was brown. And remember, there were brown carpet fibers found all over Dania's body. So the detectives immediately called in crime scene technicians, and they went over the bedroom and discovered blood stains in the bedroom under the bed. Now, when they do a fiber analysis on the brown fibers that were found on Danya's body, it was a match to the brown fibers in their apartment. Now, also, the fingerprints found did not match because there were 6 partial prints and 2 full prints found. Now, they didn't match Lucius, but they matched his girlfriend and the girlfriend's son. So the tire impression match one of the tires on the daycare van, but at this point they still don't know what was the murder weapon. Now, again, they go back to Pastor. Pastor kept meticulous records. Pastor gave them the make and the model of the reciprocating saw that was missing from the church van, as well as that torch screwdriver.
Mm-hmm.
So what the crime scene technicians do is they place an identical reciprocating saw over a scaled photo of the horseshoe imprint that was found on Danya's head, and it was an exact match. With the torch screwdriver, they kind of did the same thing. They went and got an identical torch screwdriver, made scale photos of the star-shaped marks that were found on Danya's chest, lined them up, and they matched exactly. So we know he used a reciprocating saw and a torch screwdriver to torture Dawnia, right? Also, the forensic odontologist that made the cast of Lucius's that made the cast of the bite mark found on Danya's right arm, he made a cast of Lucius's teeth, and it was consistent with the bite mark. Then, like, the evidence is piling up, so then they go to the DNA because she had DNA under her fingernails. It was a match.
And y'all know you
So
can't fight with Dana. Okay.
yes,
Hypothetically, if they didn't find these fibers, hypothetically, if they didn't find but that DNA,
yes,
yeah.
it's a wrap.
And
So
then
ain't nothing stick before, but you
yeah,
DNA gonna stick, baby.
yeah. And I bet he was sick.
Yes, as he should be.
Right.
So prosecutors believe that, as I said, what happened, Danya probably was kind of trusting of him because he was well dressed. He was driving a church van. He was very articulate. Got in the car with him, and then he immediately like attacked her.
Mm-hmm.
Now, Danya strikes me, the way she was described strikes me as just a very sweet girl. Like, the family moved over here from Jamaica, and she wanted to be a baby nurse. Like, Danya was not out here in the streets or anything like that. She was 21. She celebrated her 21st birthday in the church.
Yeah.
Like, good girl.
Yes.
Very much really, like, seemed to be a really good, sweet, caring, nurturing person. Did not deserve this at all. So, because his girlfriend was away, it gave him the perfect opportunity to transport Danya back to his apartment, where he basically sexually assaulted her. I didn't want to say the R word, and tortured her and killed her with a blow to the head with that reciprocating saw. Then, of course, he wrapped her body up in the sheets, placed her in a plastic bag, and then dumped her at that industrial park at the dumpster where she was found, and then drove over her and left her out like she was trash.
Yep.
Like, the lowest of the
Disgusting.
low.
Disgusting.
You're disgusting. So while he was being interviewed, this man claimed to suffer from memory lapses. In addition to that, when police arrested him, in connection to Dawnia's murder. He gonna say, what took y'all so long to get me?
Just arrogant.
Just oh, like,
Yeah. Yeah.
so according to the prosecutors and stuff, he accused the Broward, his defense, this was his defense. He accused the Broward County Sheriff's Office of working for the KKK and claimed he was being set up.
Sir,
Set up
listen.
how?
Sir, do I believe that, okay, I'm not going to get into all that, but not in your case.
You think they went
They
and
did
got
their
your skin
job when it
cells and put
came
them
to
under her
you. How
fingernails?
the hell you literally said, what took y'all so long to get me?
And then how
But now
you
you
jump to this?
racism? What?
How you jump to this? Now it's
Yeah.
racism?
Yeah.
And I will say, I know you said that they described that man as being handsome. He is not handsome. I was
He
looking
was
at him.
not.
He
He
is
was
not.
not. Like, that's why I said that's what the witness said. Y'all can go
The
look
witness
at him.
lied.
That man.
The witness lied.
Yeah.
No.
I
So
I didn't think so. Yeah.
no, it's not given.
It's a no for me.
So y'all, in January of 2002, he ended up being fined. He was found guilty and sentenced to death. He is still on death row to this day. This man is presumed to be a serial killer, though.
Yeah.
So, police believe that he's killed at least 2 other women that mysteriously disappeared after they had ran into him. He's currently incarcerated at the Union Correction Institution in Florida. And what's crazy is that in 2023, just
Mhm.
last year,
Yep.
he ended up being linked through DNA profiling to the unsolved murder of Eileen Trumpner, which was a woman whom he raped and murdered in December of 1998, which was just 2 weeks after the disappearance and murder of Dawnia, y'all.
Yep.
Eileen was identified as John Doe for all these years, was like 25 years, because they didn't know who she was. Turns out she was this lady from Puerto Rico. So they were, her sister always wondered what happened. She was just presumed as a missing person.
Yeah.
So he killed her. And that trial began January of this year. So January 2024, of course. He narcissist. He pled not guilty, whatever. But he faces first degree murder and sexual battery charges in her killing. But he is presumed to have killed several more. So I'm hopeful that they can link him to some more missing women, missing person cases in Florida. Like, I mean, he gonna die in prison at this point, but still,
Mhm.
those families need justice too, because I believe he is a serial killer as well.
Oh yeah.
Like,
I'm with you. I really hope that they find more victims. Like if he's responsible for more
yes,
murders, I pray that he is found guilty for all of them that he's responsible for.
yes,
And I can't help but to think about Dawnia's family, the way they spoke about her. I know her mother was on this episode, and her mother cried the whole episode. And
yeah,
I can't imagine her whole family, what they went through, and to hear this arrogant jackass say,
yeah.
"What took y'all so long?" Like, and
Oh,
these
and then
people,
another thing we didn't even mention,
uh-huh.
they found out when the rest of the world found out. They found out that Danya was dead, and they had discovered
Yeah,
her body on
that
TV
was
while they was watching the
disgusting as
news.
well. They were watching TV, and a
Yep.
news break came that they found a body, and they just flashed Danya's
Yeah.
picture, and I was
Her
like,
picture.
"No, how trifling is that?"
Yeah.
But
Cause
then they said the chaplain and the police showed up, but I was like, why did y'all do that to
do
this?
that first.
Yeah,
Like, y'all should have
yeah.
showed up first before putting that and broadcasting that on the news, because her
Mm-hmm.
sister Rochelle was like, when they flagged, they said something about a body was found. She was like,
Mm-hmm.
"It's not. It can't be Danya. It can't be Danya." Then they showed Danya's picture. I was like, "Oh my god!"
Yeah,
I could not imagine what her mom and
yeah.
sister felt in that moment. That is
Finding out when the whole
crazy.
world. And that was another thing I wanted to say as well. Let me go back and let me see what else. It was something else I wanted to point out that happened. Oh, her mother, before they found the body, I believe the night she went missing, her mother had a really, really bad dream. And
Mm-hmm.
at that point, she knew something had to be wrong. I forgot to mention that earlier. But y'all, this is another case like of just a horrible human being. Like, this
Yeah.
man disgusts me. And I'm so happy that the police did their job in this case, because we reported cases when we've reported on cases that police take forever to get and thankfully, I'm thankful for advancements in DNA, for especially for Dawnia, and then especially with this new development, this indictment for Eileen. I am so grateful for DNA advancement, because had they have not had these advancements, he might
That
be,
would have been number 11 he got off with,
yeah,
acquitted.
and I don't know. He's like a monster craven. He's like what I call one of those monsters. He is a serial killer who, like,
Well, they
yeah.
did say that the night in question when this happened, he had gotten into an argument with his girlfriend. So she was out of town, so I assume it must have been over the phone or something.
Mm-hmm.
So I think he kind of just was letting off some steam, some rage, and took that out on Danya. Disgusting. Like, when you
Mm-hmm.
need to let off some steam, go for a walk, go to the gym, pour you a drink. Like,
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
your solution is to murder.
Yeah. No. Yeah. No.
So we're glad he's on death row where he remains to this day. Now, my
Mm-hmm.
only thing is, why is he on death row all these years? I don't know why people be on death row so long.
And I'm gonna tell you, I'm gonna make this point too. Nowadays, I know during COVID, I'm not sure how things are happening now, but I know there was a conversation about bringing the firing squad back, because for a minute they could not get a hold of the drugs that they use for the lethal injection. They couldn't get a hold of that for some
It's
reason.
already back in South Carolina.
Yeah. Yeah.
I mean, but South Carolina, this state. Listen,
We are so
I'm
behind.
only here for my family.
Yeah. Yeah.
I mean, other than that, I would be in like Texas somewhere, like, or
Yeah.
out the whole country altogether.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
yeah, so South Carolina does have the firing squad. That is so
Mm-hmm.
barbaric to me, but
Yeah.
I do believe they get a choice.
Yeah.
Um, so yeah, but
Yeah.
yeah,
But yeah.
prayers for the Decosta family.
Mm-hmm.
My heart goes out to y'all. Like, I watched this a couple times, listened to a few
Mm-hmm.
podcasts, and it's just very sad and upsetting because that girl, like, she had her whole life ahead of her. 21 years
Yes.
old, beautiful
Mm-hmm.
girl, very sweet, kind, nurturing, literally just minding her business. But you know, I just want to caution people, which now it's a different. We in a different landscape altogether. I just want to caution people about getting in the cars with strangers, about
Mm-hmm.
hitchhiking, stuff like that. Not to say
Yeah.
this was her fault,
Yeah.
but just be mindful of that. Because I would rather walk, or I would rather, I'm like, she was at the gas station, maybe because she have called her mom or somebody. It wasn't too far away, but as they say, hindsight is 2020. When
Mm-hmm.
you in that position, you never know what you'll do, how you react. Because I will say,
Mm-hmm.
I did something stupid one time, and I had a flat tire, which I was literally less than a mile from my home. This is when I was staying with my parents, and a gentleman pulled over and asked me if I needed a ride, but he knew my daddy. So it was a white guy. My daddy know everybody, y'all. So but like, when I got to the house, my uncle was there, and like, I wasn't thinking in the moment. In the moment, I was like, I just got off work. I don't want to walk this far. Like, and I probably exaggerating. Probably was a little over a mile, but I was close to the house.
Mm-hmm.
And my uncle, he was like, "Don't you ever do that again.
Yeah.
Like, you don't know nothing about that man, regardless, of what. Thank God nothing happened to me, because he did take me straight home, because he knew, like I said, he knew my daddy. But anything could have happened, and it actually scared me in that moment, because I was like, I wasn't registering like the
Mm-hmm.
severity of what I just did.
Yeah. You
So
just
it's
want to
very
home.
easy to happen. I was just trying to get home. It's
Mm-hmm.
very easy to do that, but just be mindful, y'all.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and like I said, prayers to the family.
Definitely. Another, like, piggyback off what you said about, like, it's times I have seen, like, recently I've seen a person stranded on the side of the road, and I was like, I really want to help this person, but in my mind, like, I can't do that. Like,
Right. It's not safe.
it's not safe. You know what I mean?
Yeah. It's not
So
safe.
it's really. I mean, this was years ago, like in early 2000s when this happened, but the
Yeah.
world is way worse than it was then. It's
Yeah, it was
yeah,
already on the brink then. That was
yeah,
2002. We
yeah,
22 years later. It ain't got
yeah.
no better.
It ain't got no better. So yeah, please be
But
safe.
y'all, leave your thoughts on this case.
Yes,
Comment, share, subscribe. Again, if you have any recommendations for any other cases you want us to cover, let us know. We them true crime girls for real, not for play. Do
yeah.
you have any closing thoughts, Boo?
I don't. Y'all get on my nerves like always.
And we're gonna say it every week.
Every
Every week. But I will say without it, we wouldn't really have nothing to talk about, you know?
time.
But I
Yeah,
mean it's catch 22.
yeah,
But
yeah,
don't murder.
yeah. Not because you had a spit spat with your girlfriend and you just need to get out some rage. Like, no.
Go
I
to the
mean, don't
gym.
murder under any circumstance. Like,
Yeah.
but
But
that's
go outside and touch some grass.
yeah. Go do yoga. Like,
Like do some
it's so many
cleaning, you know?
things.
Listen to music.
Yeah. Cook, eat. Like,
I want to put up some scene gestures, but I'm not gonna do that. I'm a lady.
no.
I'm a lady. All right, we're gonna get out of here. Bye y'all, and catch us back
Bye.
next week for another episode, okay?
Bye, y'all.
Bye.